Hello. We are halfway through another week. Oh, I can't believe it. So, yeah, if you look carefully, you can see that I did not put away the groceries when I got home yesterday. I've been just a tiny bit busy. See, this way, the kids can see what their snacks are. And, when you put it in the cabinet, they walk in the kitchen and they say, we don't have anything to eat. But if you leave it sitting on the counter, see, then they know what they've got. Okay. That's what I'm telling myself. So yesterday, I had been kind of studying up on something I was going to talk about, and then I got totally sidetracked. The Holy Spirit just flipped the script on me. And that happens a lot, and that is perfectly fine because my goal is to listen to God and do what He's telling me to do. And so I just let the Holy Spirit guide me, and sometimes it's just all over the place, but it's what I do. Okay, so what I was going to talk about yesterday that I'm now going to talk about today is a parable. Now, I could go on for way longer than the little 10-minute allotment that I have up there. When you see me look up, I'm looking at the timer. I'm looking towards heaven. All right. So, this is the parable of the weeds. Not weed, for all you people out there. Weeds. Okay. You notice how Jesus taught in parables. Well, first of all, that was prophesied by Isaiah, and it talks about that actually in Matthew. But at this particular time, Jesus was teaching, and it says that everything he taught in parables during this time. And so a parable is designed to make you really think. I love it because I think it is so cool to try to really dive in there and dig for meanings, because the more you dig, I promise, the more hidden meanings you find. And Jesus was just brilliant and sort of a literary genius before his time. All right, so the parable of the weeds is found in Matthew chapter 13, and it begins in verse 24. If my camera goes flying off the table, it's because my dog appears to be tangled up in the cord. Okay. All right, we're going to begin with verse 24. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and then went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. So this is a farmer. He's plants his field, he goes to bed, he thinks everything's fine. And then the enemy comes in there when nobody's looking, and he throws out some bad seed for weeds. The owner's servants came to him and said, Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from? An enemy did this, he replied. The servants asked him, I'm having trouble here. The servants asked him, do you want us to go and pull them up? No, he answered, because while you're pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn. I mean, when you really think about it, this is pretty deep. Have you ever had a garden and you have weeds and they're growing close to your plant, and when you go to pull it up, the root system is tangled up with the root system of your good plant, and without even realizing it, you rip the good plant up. Well, what does this have to do with people? You think about it, there are a lot of good people out there, and they're tangled up with bad things. Their heart is good, they want to do good, and they haven't found the right path. And this is God's way of saying, look, I'm not going to go in, and the minute somebody does something wrong, rip them out of here and throw them into the burning fires of hell. I want to wait. We're going to wait, because some of the bad is tangled up with the good. And when you rip that bad out, you're going to pull good out with it unintentionally. And so anyhow, but the parable confused the disciples a little bit. They weren't quite sure. So Jesus doesn't always explain his parables, but in this case, he does, because if you move on to verse 36, then he left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He answered, "The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. And the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the people of the evil one. And the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is at the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out his kingdom, everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of the Father. Whoever has ears, let them hear." So this is important. He's like, if you've got ears, buddy, you better be listening to this, because this is going to come to pass. This is going to happen. The bad is going to be ripped out of the garden. But it's going to be at the end of the age. It's going to be when Jesus returns. We have time right now to disentangle our roots from the bad, so that when the bad is ripped up, we're not ripped up with it. We have time right now to disassociate ourselves from those who are doing wrong. We have time right now to pull away, to pull ourselves away, and to move our root system somewhere else. When you think about roots, sometimes people, you think of your family. So this can also apply to your family. Not everybody comes from a good Christian family. Some people have to remove themselves from parts of their family or all of their family in order to get on the right path, so they're not ripped up with them. The day is coming. Coming sooner than you think. And the evil of this world, the people who are doing evil, the people who are causing evil, the people who are encouraging evil, it's going to be ripped out. And when it is ripped out, it will be thrown into the fire. Do you want to stay tangled up with what's bad? There's so many people out there who think, well, I'm a Christian and God knows my heart. Yet they keep themselves tangled up with the evil. They keep piddling around here and a little here, and they think, well, it'll be okay. I'll get away from it. I know I need to, and I'll get away from it. None of us know when Jesus is returning. Do you really want to chance it? Do you want a chance that you've got next week to get out of this, next month, next year? Do you want a chance you've got tomorrow to get out of this? See a pattern there? God is gathering his children. I'm seeing it so much. Christians are standing up. God is gathering his children. He's gathering the people who are good. He's gathering those who are following his word and living by his commandments. I want my roots to be tangled up with those people. I want to make sure that when the good is ripped out, I'm ripped out with them. I want to make sure when the good is harvested, I'm harvested with them. I could go into so much more detail and so much more depth. I love these parables. Read it. Let it sink in. Let it sink in. These are words from Jesus. They're written in red. These are the words straight from Jesus. Jesus is looking at you and he is saying, untangle your root system. I see you guys tomorrow.